Sicily in 2024 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails and video clips. Yes, after a minute's flavour of some of it, we're going to the photo trails. That'll be over an hour. Basically a photo trail for each day, and then raw photos and clips of much better technical quality from June's smartphone, and then I'll roll into the pretty standard wrap up mentioning global warming and the DVLA. So that's about it. We'll just see how it goes. I expect you'll go to sleep or switch off before the end.
Hey! Hey, June! Come on, hey, Samantha! Hey! E questa? Grazie mille! Grazie! Grazie mille! Okay!
Wednesday the 29th of May 2024. Our destination was Hotel La Riva in Giardini Naxos in Sicily. And yes, it started Bentley guarding the house in his washing basket in the utility room, and tennis on the television, checking things that we're taking with us are going to work, like trackers, oh yes, my glasses, the clothes wearing for the trip, and the boat was all okay. June did a little bit of hoovering to make sure the place was tidy for the pussycats, and yes, I'm checking out things like, that's the trackers, that's my black SOS tracker, and that all seems working all right. And yes, that's there. And what else have we got? Oh, the white one, that's the one that June carries around, typically clipped on her bag. And so it looks like breakfast in the morning. And yes, the trackers are working. And what else? Main thing, of course, it means that anybody saying, where are they? Oh yes, they got there okay, or they had a problem. Oh yes, that was the new toy, the Ring camera, doorbell camera, put in a different sort of place, low down near the peanuts, and we're able to see while we're away. Yes, got all the packaging ready. We're waiting for our taxi to make sure I take a paper map of Sicily, and little did I know how important that was rather than relying on sat-nav or whatever. Yes, so that's the holiday page on the website. Oh yes, something had packed up, so had to change the batteries on it, and in fact there was some mechanical problems with it. Oh yes, it was the mouse by the look of it. Yes, those little tabs had got bent, so yes. Oh, that's a summer alarm had come up. That was all sorted out anyhow. So yeah, making sure plants are watered, and anybody interested where we were, yeah, the contact page had the stuff. My hat, as it happened, I really didn't use it, but I thought, yeah, decorate it with one of the armed mice, and yes, got the right tools for that, put them back in the right place. Yeah, so Ali Badwaki was on his way. Lovely guy. You got to know on just that journey, things including his mum being Italian, and he actually spoke a few words. But anyhow, so I was using my smartphone, checking that the tracker was working. Anybody interested? Oh, did we make it to the airport in time? And of course, oh yes, he thought he might be interested in a tip, but no. So of course, what actually happened, and I didn't discover till afterwards, is I'd left the phone had probably fallen out of my pocket and gone under the seat. And when we went through security, then I was suddenly saying, "Oh, my phone's gone missing." Yes, so there we go, 10 past whatever that was. And the other tracker showed where we were in the airport, and yes, that one. Oh well, yes, it could be used to make a phone call if I didn't have my phone. But so now looks like we're practically boarding the aircraft. We are on board. Yeah, there we go. And of course we switch off the trackers in the same way that the phones were switched to safe mode. But anybody interested said, oh yeah, it looks as though they got there, at least to get on the plane. So we're now on the plane, and that was there was a problem they had with the seating arrangements, but it worked out great for us. I think June had paid a bit more for a bit more leg room for the seating, and the guys were sort of moving people around, including ourselves, but we couldn't have ended up with a better solution. Loads of space. Oh yes, right near a door as well, but not a good idea to open it while the plane's in flight. Yeah, loads of leg room, and that's where we were then. Perhaps that was it. Yeah, and Samantha made sure she grabbed the seat near the window. Yeah, that's the time, coming up to 7:15 in the evening. And yeah, so we're now on our way, going over, or about to go over Paris, or nearby. And yeah, that might have been getting close to the Alps, I'm not sure. Loads of refreshments. And what am I pointing to now? Oh, probably I'd pinched Samantha's seat near the window so I could look out the window. And yeah, Samantha had moved out the front. So that shows us coming over Italy. Loads of leg room, really lovely. Yeah, and 2 spare seats by the side of me as well. So now we're flying down along the sea, along the coast of Italy, making our way to Sicily, of course. Getting darker, coming up to, I'll probably change my clock to local time, which was an hour ahead of us. And yeah, it looks as though we're able to switch things on, so put the tracker on, and yeah, taking their luggage out, or hand luggage, and then next thing was to find the Europa car thing. Well, of course, June went searching around, and I just went and asked somebody. Simple as that. So it was in the place where it had been before, but a bit confusing because of so many other competing car rental firms. Anyhow, got the car. June did an amazing job on holiday of driving, and so we're now going past a few points on the route, and Samantha hadn't used Google Maps navigation very much, and if at all, and June decided I'll give her that, and anyhow we got there, and it was the coast road. Yeah, there was a firework display on as well across the bay, and everything was working. So there we are in the reception area, or whatever you call it, into the room. That was the picture on the wall that I used as a sign off on the photo trails. Yeah, and looking across the bay from our balcony, and yeah, and then where do we go there? That was probably went for a limoncello somewhere. That was it. Thursday, the 30th of May 2024, Giardini Naxos, and starting with photos that Samantha took, 3 photos from their trip up to Taormina, but you'll see them again later. So this is in the lounge of Hotel La Riva, and that's in the room. Yeah, annoying, can't check in to stuff because I didn't have my smartphone. That would have been left in the taxi, but no problem. Looking on the tracker, yeah, that showed our trip there, and yeah, pictures on the wall, and make sure things are working, and yeah, the laptop was working okay. Check my tracker, yeah, that was okay, local time, what's that, 11 o'clock, and yeah, so anybody interested say, oh look, they're in Sicily, and that's exactly where they are. So that's working well. And yeah, so then it was breakfast just down the road at Isola di Gelati, the island of ice cream, their favourite spot for breakfast in the morning. Yes. And the sparrows come, and they quite enjoy being fed. I think they can practically feed out of your hand. So yeah, there's a little submarine going past. There's a hotel, and taking a walk around the town. Now what actually happened is June claims I stole her smartphone. Well, since I didn't have a phone at all and they both had phones, I thought it wasn't unreasonable that one of the phones was with me, so for communication. So while they went up on a bus trip to Taormina, I walked around the town, and yeah, so these are mostly combinations of looking at spots like where they were. I think that's how I discovered they'd taken the bus trip a bit earlier than I thought. Not to worry. And yeah, so he says, but probably he's decided I'll take a walk around the town and enjoy things. Yeah, I was able to touch base on the phone and confirm, yes, they were up in Taormina. They caught the bus up there. So the tracker showed that, so fine. Where are we going now? Oh, I get confused. Yes, so was this before they'd gone? Oh yeah, I think what I did is I walked around and checked on things like the bus stop and made phone calls because I wasn't sure how long they were going to be there. Yes, tips can be quite useful around the place. So I took a walk around the town. Yes, interesting. The number of things, including the graffiti artwork on the walls, and the place to remember the guys lost in the last wars. And of course all those places are familiar to June and myself, but this was Samantha's first visit to Sicily. So Giardini Naxos, there's a submarine again, and a drinking tap, and you could actually get water. Lovely statue there. And of course with all these things it's often the people you meet, and there was a couple of guys I met there, and don't remember the names now, but yeah, interesting couple of students, I guess, and couldn't believe it. One of them lived close to where I worked at Shape Technical Centre in Holland. Incredible. And yeah, and there was water running into the sea. So even though they'd had dry periods that year, oh yes, got on the phone with them again, confirmed where they were, so fine. I carried on to enjoy my walking around the town and relaxation. That's the two guys I spoke to. Yeah, and that's the card of the hotel, La Riva, and continuing my sightseeing. That's inside the hotel. Lovely stuff up on the walls, and including the late guy who started it some years ago now. Family, of course, family business. So that's the front. Relax there for a little while and check out the bus stop, and I think that was the bus I was expecting them on. Yep, there they go, they got off the bus, and there's a souvenir, and there's again the photos, 3 photos that Samantha took. So back in the lounge, and where next? They decided we'll go to there. They just wanted us something light, and yeah, look along the beach. So they're walking their way down, not sure whether, probably just for drinks before a meal. Yes, I recognise that place. Can't remember the name at the moment, but it might appear. Lovely views, and of course it's near the beach and the children's play area. Yes, and I had some snack. Not sure what they called it. It was sort of like mini arancinis and things. So we think, where are we going to eat? Yes, Lupa di Mare, the sea wolf. And yeah, Pipo, I think the guy's name. He passed away fairly recently, but I remember him and lovely people there. Anyhow, the food, of course, was brilliant. Yes, so that was probably a frito misto, I'm guessing. I don't know. So obviously getting later in the evening, probably a WhatsApp messages going backwards and forwards. And yes, that's using June's phone, I think. Oh yes, I was improvising by putting videos up on June's YouTube channel every day, or at least I shoot the video and June would upload it, and that meant that the quality certainly wouldn't have been that good, but at least it kept people interested, or those who were interested could see what we're up to. Yes, and that video had gone up with subtitles okay. So that is probably the end of the photo trail for that day. Friday the 31st of May 2024. Yes, starting from the Hotel La Riva in Giardini Naxos, we took some trips out, and starting with Samantha's idea of going to a canyon that June and I have been before. But anyhow, before we did that, we went to have breakfast at Isola di Gelati, and yeah, a favourite place for breakfast, just a few yards from the hotel. Then looking at the map, and Samantha suggested this canyon that was as a start. Oh yes, there's a little sparrow coming for breakfast to join us, and I can't remember the name of the food that it had, but it doesn't matter. So we go back, and yeah, just some glimpses of the lovely beach just outside the hotel, and yeah, they've got a little fishing boat there as well. Comes in, I think he puts out lobster pots or something similar. So just checking out the PC they had in the lounge, including June's YouTube channel, on which I'd uploaded videos. That was the routine each day, and it worked with subtitles, which could of course switch into Italian. And yeah, my tracker, make sure that's working. Yes, all public, so don't need to log in or anything, just go to the contact page. Yeah, a bit puzzled by something, but anyhow, it wasn't a problem. And yeah, what June's pointing out, oh yeah, so that's where we're going to. Samantha had looked it up, and June remembered we'd been there, and that was going to be several places, and so make sure I take the paper map with me. That was absolutely invaluable. So June driving, of course, and Samantha attempting to navigate. Yeah, it was quite warm, and yeah, so now we're on our way to this canyon, which was up in the hills. So photo trail shows our route through places, many of which were familiar to us. Casale Ramona, Sciara, and sooner or later I'll recognise it. Yeah, could this be it? Gole Alcantara. Yes, so that was a place. It was not sure how you describe it. It was yeah, physically it was a canyon, a deep canyon, but they made the whole thing a kind of pleasure park, and very convenient to go down, which was a lift. So you had stairs, of course, as well, but very different to a far wilder canyon that we'd been to far south. And yeah, pointing out things, fish in the pond. So now we're taking the lift, or about to get into the lift, to go down, and then we're down near the river. People are paddling, and yes, even Robin went in for a little paddle. and yeah, cafe there with pussycats. And of course, pussycat wasn't encouraged to go on the table, but somebody, it seemed, was not only feeding him but encouraging him to come up and join them on the table. He didn't like Coca-Cola, he preferred water. Yes, there he is. Lovely pussycat. Yes, all part of the tourist attractions, really. Checking on the tracker, yeah, that showed us where we were. And anybody interested, I weren't actually in the middle of the water then. And so what are we doing now? Oh yes, Robin decided to have a paddle, and June noticed a frog and a boggy bit on the way back. Yeah, so there was some wildlife there, and so that was good. Oh yes, and Michelle sent a message to say that she could track my phone because I'd shared the position. So that gave us the lead we needed, and in the course of the holiday the phone was returned by Saskia. But anyhow, now we're getting back to the car. Yes, it was quite warm, but not a problem. June driving. Main thing is make sure you've got the aircon on or the windows open. So this is just places en route, I guess. And on quite a few occasions we got a bit lost, but bit of common sense, it wasn't too difficult. So we're probably now on our way to, I think it was Etna that had been decided we'd go next. So we've done the canyon, and now, yeah, with a bit of motorway, including bits that you go through tolls. And yes, I like the graffiti. Lots of places you find that. And yeah, so we're now making our way up to the big car park, which is south of the summit of Etna. Looks as though we might be there now. Yes, I think so. And we went down to the far end, which there's Etna. On that side there was no snow visible. You had to go around the other side to see that. Yes, a few amusing attractions there. And yeah, June and Samantha decided to go up and visit one of the smaller little volcano edges, but I prefer to just relax and chat with the guys that were selling stuff like honey there. So that's where they went, and might be the pictures they took, I don't know. Anyhow, those are the guys I chatted with, and we in fact did buy some honey and stuff from both of them, take back. So checking the time, and that was the sundial. Yeah, well, of course I've been messing around with the sundial in my garden, but it was great to see one done really well. Fairly recent thing that's been added, I think, but very accurate. Yes, oh yes, for toilets you had to give them a coin, and I thought for a moment I'd given them English coins, but I hadn't. Yeah, so we're now on our way back, and I think after Etna, I think we were going to drop in, for memory, on Enrico and Matilda at Flary near Cephron Etnia. But yeah, I think we got a bit lost on the road, no surprise, but that looks familiar. Yeah, I think we're coming into, yeah, there's Flary, and yeah, that looks the place. And there's the doggies, the two guard dogs on the old house, original house of Enrico. They are Enrico and Matilda, and they're us in their lounge in the new place, which was built in more recent years opposite. And there's, I think that's, get his name right, Nico, I think, their doggy, young doggy. And there's Etna. Not much, a little bit of smoke coming out of it, but not a great deal. And oh yes, and then we're taking a run off, and Enrico's driving and decided to where are we going now? Probably going into the middle of Zaffarana Etnia. Yes, and so we're looking around that. That's familiar to June and myself. The lovely big square uh, with you can see behind the cathedral the Etna, and there's the lovely fountains, and also allegedly somebody was teaching a young boy how to squirt water from the drinking fountain, allegedly. Yeah, so that looks like a memorial. And and there's the bar with Alfio, we know from for years of visits, and it's called Belvedere, the beautiful view. And of course there's pictures on the wall including smoke rings being blown by Etna more recently, and of course the various stages of lava flow and snow. Lovely meal. Oh, that was check-in air camera. The and there's a hedgehog caught on it. That was the new product toy, the Ring doorbell, which Robin had put down low near the peanuts. Yeah, checking the tracker. Yeah, it shows where we are, which is yeah. And they had a political event on because they were near both. I think it was the local elections and the EEC elections, if I got it right. And yeah, that's where we'd been, looking on the the track of Robin's tracker. Yeah, anybody interested would have seen the live positions, even if not the past stuff. And so that showed their journey for the day, including there. Not sure, a bit puzzled by that, but not sure why. Looked okay. Oh yes, that was my phone, and yeah, just by logging into Google Maps, up came the icon of me because I was happy about it being shared anywhere, so could see the movement of my phone. And yeah, that's probably the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 1st of June 2024. Yes, starting at Hotel La Riva in Giardini Naxos. So what did we do that day? Well, we had a walk around the town and made our way along the beach, and oh yes, of course, Isola di Gelati, the island of ice cream, for breakfast. Thoroughly enjoyed that, of course. Then back to the room, planned what we were going to do next, and yeah, I could see my phone and yeah, so no problem there in terms of knowing that it was in his car, and it's just a case of making contact, and that was done. Yeah, just reminding ourselves of the photos I took in the car on our way to the Gatwick, and stupid Robin had left it, must have fallen out of his pocket and gone under the seat. Anyhow, no problem. And what else have we got here? Oh yes, checking the trackers. Anybody interested say, oh, where are they? Are they okay? And yeah, so that shows us where my tracker is. And yeah, I bought those glasses off that guy, and when that picture was taken, the label was still on it. Anyhow, yeah, got some cash and relaxing. So I think we decided, yes, we were toying with the idea of walking into the gardens of Giardini Naxos, but instead we took the walk that June and I were familiar with alongside the little river, very low of course, and making our way to the Pirate Beach. So that's where the river comes out and hits the sea, and yeah, we're making our way to the Pirate Beach, where there's a cafe and places where women can lounge out in the sun. I can relax in the shade with an ice cream. So they enjoyed their time there. So then we're walking our way back alongside the river. Obviously lovely plants and things. And every now and again stop in the shade bit of a rest. Yeah, views of Taormina, and I found a gap in their fence where you could just get in without paying into Giardini Naxos. But no, she says, because I thought he might cut across through there, but not. No. So we're still making our way round the bay back towards the hotel. Obviously places we remember eating, lovely places, good food, lovely atmosphere. Oh yes, that's looking into the gardens. Saw the sculpture. So that's probably going up to where the port is. You can't read what's on the signs there, a bit too bright for the camera, but yeah, that's the old original port, and seems yeah, had a relax there while the women had a look round. Yes, nice pussycats as well, and making our way back now on the seafront. Yeah, chat fishing there. Back to the hotel. June doing a crossword puzzle or whatever it is on the balcony, and Samantha doing something similar, relaxing. Yes, check air tracker. Yeah, that showed the walk where we went on Pirate Beach, where we went up to the port. And what's next? Yeah, relaxing basically. It looks like some communication there related to getting my phone back. I think Saskia had made contact. Might have even got the phone from Ali. Yes, I'd check in. Oh, and there's checking photos and probably putting the video up for the previous day on June's YouTube channel. Yeah, getting into the evening now, so probably thinking where we're going to go to eat. So we took a walk down along the seafront, and Arcobaleno, the rainbow. Yes, June and I remember that from last year. Lovely food, lovely, and the musicians came round, so that was great fun. Didn't sing the donkey song, which remember from a few years ago, but still good, authentic old Sicilian music. Yes, that was always well received, not that I would part with it. And the Turkish lira as well. Lovely food, of course. June taking some video by the look of it, or photos. Yes. Lovely food. So what we got now? Oh, that's the Ring camera that I, instead of putting it as a doorbell, I put it down on the porch, and we could see stuff coming in, like squirrels visiting, triggering it for the peanuts, of course. Oh yes, and there's a message from Saskia that she'd picked up the phone from Ali, and yes, probably stopped in a bar there. Making our way back to the hotel. Yeah, check things out, including, yes, there's my phone shown at near Saskia and Garra's, all confirming everything. So that's probably the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 2nd of June 2024. Yeah, when it comes to potholes, the Sicilians don't mess about. One of my favourite photos. Yeah, so here's the photos in the order taken on that day, and yes, shown in the lounge of La Riva, and basically deciding what we're going to do the next day, and checking out things like the trackers so people knew what we were up to, or at least where we were going. And yeah, so a few photos, lovely lounge area, and relaxing outside. Took a look at the newspaper, Not that I read it and understood it, but I could look at the pictures at least, including the cartoons. I seem to recognise that guy. Yes, so we're still in the lounge area, or reception area of the hotel. Yes, 20 past 10 local time. So, deciding where we're going to go, and it's decided we're going to meet up with Enrico and Matilda. We're going to take us up to a place called Montalbano. Never been there, up in the hills, and so it's a really interesting and relaxing drive up there. Probably see the full name at some stage when we get there, but anyhow, the route up was interesting, and the usual thing, little problems on navigation, and found that, and basically a great chunk of the road had slipped away there, and very carefully, oh, there's a lizard. Very carefully, Robin walked around the edge to the other side. Yes. Yeah, how about that? Now, why can't they just get a bit of speed up and jump across rather than have to go round the slow way? Not to worry. So, we're back on our way on an alternative route. Yeah, everything looking good. Through some little narrow streets, as always. If you needed anything to screw up the sat-nav. Ah, yes, there's a horse. Hello, Mr. Horse. And I think come across a cow not long after. Enrico and June. Yes, there's the moo cow. Yep. Hello, Madam Moo Cow, I suppose that would be. And so we're getting close to the area. And, oh yeah, glimpse of, because coming round near the north face of Etna, you get a glimpse of snow. Yes, and so that guy who's got that, maybe getting mixed up. I mean, not the same camper van, or is it? I don't know. Anyhow, lovely flowers. Yes, that's the chap. Now I can't be sure. It might have been Nino, and yes, he had a few artifacts for sale there. June was pointing out things. Yeah, the difference is me and you, exactly. So, yes, looks like that must be wheat and poppies growing there. Obviously high up, so plants are different. And apparently this area had become famous for the ancient carvings in the rocks. And a number of them they thought were intended to be represent things, people or whatever. Oh, that was a real goat up high on a rock. So obviously people taking photos, and looks like somebody had had a little barbecue there. Oh yes, I decided that carving there, it's obviously not natural, was they must have had motorbikes and crash helmets, and we met a couple and yeah, it probably might have been insects I saw there, ants. Yes, Matilda relaxing, yes, lots of water being drunk the whole holiday. Looking across Windmill Farm. Ah, those, not sure what they are, but there's like a sort of black ladybird. Yeah, so spoke to, you know, offered him 1,000 lira, but no, so we're making our way back now. And what's next? Yes, I can't remember where we stopped there. Yeah, because everywhere you go there's lovely ancient buildings. Oh yes, I bought June a little early birthday present, so we need to get that. Very expensive it was, from ladies selling stuff around the corner. So that's, we went to the cafe. June showed some of the photos they'd taken, and yes, Matilda showing Enrico. So these are the pictures that we've taken, not just mine, the camera. This is inside the whatever you call it, cafe, restaurant. Lovely food, lovely atmosphere as well, of course, including their little doggy. He's well trained. He waited outside. Enrico enjoyed the spaghetti. Yes, I probably had arancini. Oh yes, pictures on the wall, artwork of Vesuvius. Did I say Vesuvius? Etna. Easy to get mixed up. There's the doggy again. So we take a look at the castle. We didn't go inside, but just walk round. Yeah. Picked up the bright light. Castle de Federico, I think that was. There's a pussycat, or pussycats guarding the castle, I think. So now making our way back. Actually, when I was joking about roads, yeah, I had a bit of a doze at one point, woke up. I think the roads generally in Sicily are better than they are in Berkshire or Surrey in our area. But anyhow, where are we now? Looks as though we're back at the hotel. Yeah, back at Hotel La Riva. Yeah, had a bit of a relax. Yeah, look at the YouTube channel of June's. It's all the time we're popping up videos. Very rough indeed, but better than nothing. And yeah, so into the evening, checking out. Oh yes, now there's a procession came past, a church procession, very well attended by lots of groups, obviously from the church, but the local community as well. It was probably to commemorate a particular day. I didn't research that. There's going past the hotel. Yeah, it looks like we're into, looks like a pizza there. Samoa Beach. That's where we're planning to go the next day, I think. June had decided, yes, we'd check out there and rather, yeah, so the Shitso, I think that's how you pronounce it, Shitso bar for an ice cream, yes. Yeah, pity about the way it's pronounced, but not to worry. Back to the hotel. Yeah, relaxing just outside. Forced to have a limoncello, and that's their plan for the next day, which is to go down to Samoa Beach. And yeah, so that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 3rd of June 2024. Yes, that's Daniela with Samantha and June, the hotel we next stayed in. So checking out of La Riva in Giardini Naxos, and yeah, so that was the video for the day before, probably uploaded onto June's YouTube channel. And yeah, that's all seems to be going as it should. So there's the hotel, and yeah, it's probably looking at the Ring camera on our porch. Yes, breakfast at Isola del Gelato, Island of Ice Cream. And yeah, checking out, there's Maria at Hotel La Riva. So checking out there, June's driving, and we're off down south to the next stop, which will be a hotel for a night or two. And so, oh yes, there'd been a minor accident on the road, a bit more of a delay. I think it was where the road narrowed. So Samantha's navigating, going through the toll. Yes, pay lady there, what it was, something small, 50 cents perhaps, I don't know. Yeah, so we're still on our way through some tunnels, and yeah, some are quite long tunnels. Don't know how long they've been there. Easy to check, I suppose. And it's a lovely little spot that June had found, but to be close to somewhere we wanted to visit. And I'll have to look at my notes actually. So yeah, it was south of Syracuse, and it was a little place. I found the paper map invaluable. Yeah, it's a bit boring bits, and well, not the terrain. Yeah, so we went past a town called Belvedere, the lovely view, and on the small road, so I could check the map. We were on the right route to get there. Yeah, so we'd gone past some lemon trees. I was thinking of, very tempting to steal some, but not really. So we're getting close. Yes, that all matches up with what I saw on the paper map. Not a detailed map, but a lot better than nothing. And yes, so that looks as though getting there. Yes, graffiti on the buildings, useful landmarks those. So I think we're practically there. And it was a lovely bed and breakfast, Samoa Beach. Yes, and there's Danielle, the landlady. And there's their rooms, or one of them. And yeah, Samantha's pointing out places and things. Yeah, so that's looking down on the lovely little garden they had. And a pussycat. Got quite friendly with the pussycat. And then we took a walk, and the destination was a bar. I don't know what the distance was, quarter of a mile, half a mile along the beach, past the pillbox. I thought I had to check that out, including inside. I didn't climb inside, it would have been quite difficult for me, but kids obviously had, so it was well decorated with graffiti. So June took that picture. So they're making away. That's another landmark, which is near the bar. Not sure what it's probably called, Samoa Beach Bar, I don't know. And so yeah, just check the tracker. That worked. So anybody interested say, oh, look, they got where the next place. And yes, usual thing, 1,000 lira goes down well. Oh yeah, we walked along to the little, well, I'm not sure, we call it a little stall place selling vegetables. And then made our way back. Here's a bumblebee. Yeah, lovely cactus, which apparently edible. And I think I might have spent some time relaxing there, where the women wandered off doing other things. I'm not sure, can't remember now. Oh, I think they went back to rest. That was it. They went back to rest and back at the hotel, and I just hung around at the bar for several hours. It was a very enjoyable period there until eventually there's kids surfing, and I was thinking, oh, they said they'd be back a bit earlier, but they did get back. And so that was a starter, I think. Looked like a mini arancini, and there's some, looks like limoncello. But yes, so back to the bed and breakfast. Check the trackers, yeah, that showed where we'd been. And to where we'd walked from the bed and breakfast along to the bar and back. So that was all working okay. So that probably signs off the photo trail. That's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 4th of June 2024, starting with the picture of Carlo and Danielle of the bed and breakfast that we were staying in. And the reason for staying there was to be near the town we were going to visit, was Syracuse. And checking out first thing odds and ends in terms of perhaps the video that's shot the day before and put on June's YouTube channel, looking down on their garden, having breakfast there, and because it was a better breakfast, of course. And yeah, there's Danielle, Samantha, and there's the other son. Took me down the road to the hotel, all tied up with them, I think, and that's where they paid with a credit card. That was the Aranella Beach Hotel. So that was, oh yes, that bill was modified. I better mention that. And there's a pussycat. Very nice pussycat. Forget his name now. Very affectionate. Got his paw prints on me, but it was only water. So that was that. Yes, enjoyed a time there with the pussycat. And I thought, I saw that stairs going up. So yes, went up there and good look round. I saw those antennas and I was tempted to adjust them, but I thought I'd better not. And lovely view. And what else? Looking down. Hello. Yes. So we're off for our trip. Yes. Everywhere is lovely plants. So this is our trip to Syracuse, a historic town. We've been there before, of course, but the first time Samantha passed that pillbox, or a pillbox, not the same one. And yeah, landmarks like McDonald's, they've become landmarks now. See a church in the distance, so we must be getting close to Syracuse now. And yeah, somewhere to park. And yeah, sorted out the car park ticket and things. That was all very simple. And of course, whenever you go anywhere, you you meet interesting guys for all sorts of reasons. Right, so we're now going to see the ear of Dionysus, and so that's it's a large cavern, but of course there's sculptures and things on the way. Some are very old and some are fairly recent. Yes, so what makes this cavern special is the sound. You can hear a whisper on the far side, apparently. Obviously, when there's a crowd of people, less easy to check out. And June and I have been there before at least once. But anyhow, that was an interesting place, an interesting area. Little patches of water inside, I think. And some of the sculpture, I think, was fairly modern. Including that one, I think. But again, you can look these things up if you're interested. So we're having a good look round there. And yes, no lack of artwork, both very ancient and modern. Yeah, some bits of rockery. That looks like the amphitheatre. Now that is old. And yes, so while the women walked around the top of that, I thought I'd relax, and yeah, sure enough, there was running water for refreshment, and of course a bar where the ladies joined us. So relaxing there, showed a few photographs she'd taken, and that was probably the video that had been shot and processed on her YouTube channel. So now looking at the map of the town, because that was just one particular patch on the outskirts, the ancient amphitheatre. So we take the hop on hop off bus, and that's a good solution. So rather than walk or drive through the town, one just hops on the bus, and of course you can see places as you go past. And yeah, I remember chatting to the driver, and got a seat right near the front, which was great. He said, "No, you didn't get the earplugs with it." I said, no problems, you just look around. So yeah, there's me sat at the front. I think there was a mirror there as well. And So that was the bus stop we chose to get off. Yes, the bus stops were numbered because there's different schemes. Yeah, he wouldn't let me drive. No. That was his work mate, I think. So it looks like we're still following round. Yes, and that's where we got off. Can't remember the names of the places, but you only have to look at the tracker to see where we were, or look for the landmarks and pictures of them. You recognise them. Yeah, there's the fountains, one of them, and pointing out things. Oh, arancini. Oh yes, definitely make a note of that as a place we can stop to eat arancini, or at least Robin can. And yes, looking at various places there. Looks like a cathedral. And places are so grand, it's very difficult to know the difference between a cathedral and a church. There's Robin's got a couple of arancini and charging up his camera, little pocket camera. Oh, they're having a very grand ice cream by the look of that. Yes, not sure what the name of that was. Just looking at where we were on mapping, there's a pigeon coming around, coming up to 3 o'clock local time. Robin having a cornet. And going into probably, would that be checking out, looking at the church inside? Yes, I think it is. So yeah, lovely, mostly very old stuff. So looking around there, lovely mosaics as well. You can always freeze a frame if you want to read the detail. You always use Google Translate or something to work out what it's saying. If it's, some of the signs were of course in English as well. And having a good look around that place. Yeah. Looks like one of the popes. Lovely paintings and murals everywhere, of course. Right, so coming out there and going down to the water's edge. Yeah, we remember that. Little bits of beach even that, yeah. Oh yes, military zone. Yeah, not allowed in there. Yes, with cameras, goodness me. So that was, yeah, lost his head apparently. No surprise. I assume that's what it is. Oh, that was, yeah, that's the artist who did it, but it was, I think, Icarus. And the hand holding his ankle was probably his dad saying, no, don't do it. Then we passed the pond with ducks and fishes and swans, I think those were, or were they geese, I don't know. And lovely sculptures everywhere. Sometimes you get party of school kids being shown round. As I say, places that June and I had been to before, but it was a reminder, you forget how lovely some of the places are. An ancient old tree that is, I'm not sure what type it is. But yeah, so that's where we were. Now we're thinking about how we're going to make our way back to the correct bus stop. There's a little bit of sandy beach. Past the graffiti, and oh yes, a shooting range. So Robin have to go give that a try. and I did successfully, even though it's quite a while since I picked up a gun, knock the cans down. But the last ones were very difficult. I think you had to. I still won something, but I didn't get maximum points because you had to knock down the little spigots that came down to hold a can up, I think. Not to worry. So, relaxing in one of the squares with the grumpy old men. And some of these grumpy old men are a useful font of information. So, making our way back along little narrow cobbled streets to the bus stop. And of course, this is the thing, finding the correct bus stop. And pussycats relaxing. There's two of them there. Yeah, making our way back to the harbour. I think that was the point where the women went off in the wrong direction. It was pretty obvious. So I just simply said I could see where it was, so I cut through and waited for them. Eventually they turned up. And so gradually, yes, so we've got on the hop-on, hop-off bus, and we're on our way to the large car park and area for tourists, basically. Loads and loads of knickknacks one can buy. Yes, the obvious ones from The Godfather, the Il Padrino, and lots of Carabinieri police. And I think there was going to be a musical event for the youngsters there that night, and that may be why there was more of them. But of course I asked them about Cartarella, but didn't get very far. Anyhow, back to Samoa Beach bed and breakfast. So check out things, put things in our room and everything, or rooms, and then looks like we're off for another walk. I'm guessing it'll be down to that beach bar again, Samoa Club. Yeah, there's the pillbox, not that lot far away on the walk back to the bed and breakfast. So relaxing there. So what's that? Oh yeah, that was an unusual thing. It was the black colouring of the bread was apparently the ink from the squid. Didn't look very appetising, but it still tasted like bread. So there's the women. That's the end of the photo trail. Practically the end. Showing where we were going to go next, I think, next day. Wednesday the 5th of June 2024, including our trip to Noto, checking out from Samoa Beach Bread and Breakfast. There's Danielle with Samantha and June, and yeah, so that was the planned trip to Noto, and then on to booking at Scoglietti, so at the Hotel Al Gabbiano. So relaxing in the garden, and yes, breakfast and coffee, real espresso Italian coffee. Yeah, packing all their stuff into the car and saying bye bye to Daniela, and yeah, Samantha's in the back trying to navigate, but I've got the paper map, much more important. So that's where we are, just leaving, and we're gonna go into Noto first. So yeah, so that's where we're heading, and pretty straightforward route, certainly on the paper map it was. And yeah, so we got there, parked right, well, within yards really of the main gate, if you call it a gate, archway. And yeah, we remember the town from our very first trip to Sicily, whenever that was. And that's where, yeah, lots of things. Yeah, that fountain I think is called the Old Fountain, but they don't want to damage it by putting water in it, I think. And that restaurant, was where we first tried pasta consard. So going into the church and looking around there, or cathedral, and the main high street palace, the Duke's Palace I think that was, and a load of young kids hanging around, of course. Get various trips. Oh yeah, that musician. I yeah, enjoyed having a chat with him, and yeah, that was in memory of the guys who lost their lives and were wounded. Yeah, there he is. And so basically it was up and down the high street is the simple way of putting it, but of course a rather grand high street. Ooh, arancino. So that's what Robin had for the lunch snack. And of course the women had ice cream. And yeah, a little train ride. We didn't take it, but we saw it. Yeah, that looks as I forced myself to have an ice cream. And of course, yeah, the 1,000 lira note comes out. Always creates a good reaction for those who remember it. Yeah, so they're looking at the souvenir knickknacks, and looked like there was an exhibition celebrating Caravaggio, the artist. Oh, I noticed that bike, and I noticed the tyres were a bit flat, so it was being used just to decorate. And those obviously well targeted at tourists that had pussycats. Yeah, again, out came the 1,000 lira note, and yeah, carrying a walk. Looks like we're back to the car. Lovely flowers coming out, and yeah, checking out the car park, and then in the narrow streets to find our way out of town. So some sort of celebration had been going on there, and now on the road, and of course we're going roughly west to Scoglietti, where we're booked into Hotel Gabbiano, the Seagull. So usual pattern of some tunnels and various landmarks. Go across a viaduct to there, looking down on the town. There's a tractor, and Samantha attempting to navigate with the Google Maps, but not an easy job. Yeah, recognise that place on the map. And of course occasionally you get a sign saying, oh, there's the village of whatever it is, so you know, ah, that's where I am. So the map's not very detailed, but very useful indeed. Good job we brought it with us. Yeah, so looks as though we're getting close to Scoglietti now. I think I recognise it. Coming through the suburbs, yes, and check into our room. So Samantha's got the room next door. We're looking out. It's got a private beach, so that's all good. Everything's working. Yeah, they even had a magazine down in the lounge. I had a doze down there while the women were and woke up, and women relaxing, sunbathing on the private beach. Yeah, lovely spot it is. And there's a lizard. Yes, I actually thought rather than take the shortcut of the lift or stairs and go out the back, I walked around to the beach, and now walking down having an ice cream at the bar, and joined by Samantha and June. Yeah, getting later in the day now. And what are we doing now? Well, yes, having some Prosecco, I should think, before. Yes, that was eating in the hotel, I think. Lovely food, of course. That's true generally, Italian. Yeah, he says, another clean plate. Oh, goodness me, more. No, perhaps that wasn't the hotel. No, that's a picture. No, that was the place around the corner Lovely place. We had eaten there before when it was whether it was that doesn't matter. That's the end of the photo trail for that day. Thursday the 6th of June 2024, starting with the photo of the sunset at the back end of the day, but starting with breakfast. And yeah, this is Hotel Gabbiano, the Seagull in Scoglietti, with its private beach, where of course we've stayed before, but Samantha is first time. And yes, probably checking things like, oh yes, a squirrel caught, and then a birdie by the different types on the Ring doorbell device, which I'd put near the peanuts. And there's a little baby fox. So yeah, enjoying, relaxing and looking at the videos that had come in. Yeah, so I was very pleased with that. Yes. Oh, and there was Saskia coming out of the house after probably delivering the phone that she'd picked up from Ali. So what else we got? Oh yeah, it was the YouTube video. Rough, very rough, but better than nothing, that I'd put up on June's YouTube channel, or I'd filmed it for her to put up. Private beach there at the back. Bit puzzled by something, not sure what. Doesn't really matter. And yes. Oh, that was it. It was to do with pressing buttons in the right way on the laptop, I think. Yes. So checking the tracker, because confirmed that it's still working. And yeah, June's chakra as well. Anybody interested, say, well, okay, that's where they are, and that's where they're going. Yes. Oh yes, I sent a message out with the video link and things. Yeah, she was looking at the local information for tourists and things about Scoglietti. There's the proprietors who set up the place years ago. Yeah. So having a walk round the town, down towards the main square near the port. Lovely place for people to gather through the day, particularly in the evening. Ice cream bars, of course. And that's near the fish market, I think. Yes, and the lovely spot. Apparently the fish market, we found out, was open on the Monday, but we did other things that day, so we didn't catch it. I had an explore around because I could see fish in the shallow weedy water right near the edge. It was interesting. So there's the hotel, El Gabbiano. Back to the room, relaxing. Oh yes, that's the doorbell. Fingers crossed it's still working. I think it was running low on power, but I had put a small solar panel on it, and so it obviously ran down low depending on the weather. But if it was very cloudy, then it wouldn't charge up as quickly. There's a postman coming, caught by the doorbell. That is Faye going in, I think, to check whether the cats, and leaving, checking that the food was out for the cats, so that worked well. Yeah, that was looking at the events. Right, and there's a fox coming to munch the peanuts. Of course, you've got sound as well. There's a squirrel. So, very pleased with that. Anyhow, they're out on the beach just for a change, relaxing. I am in a doze. Yeah, I've been busy, really. Yeah, there they are. That's the beach, because I walked around there to join them for a few minutes and had a look round. Forced myself to have some refreshments. Yes, that looks like a cocktail to me. Is that getting late in the evening? Don't know. Alfaro. Oh yes, that was lovely restaurant just round the corner from the lighthouse. So there is a lighthouse there. It's not a very tall one, but it serves its purpose for the fishermen or whoever's out at sea to, that's Scaglietti. So they're having pizza, and yeah, the sun's going down, so along with eating, we're sort of watching the sunset disappearing behind the land in the distance. You can look on the map to see what land that would be. So yeah, making our way back. There's the lighthouse. There's with the light going on, flashing, just a matter of when I took the photo. And that's the bill, very reasonable. There's ice cream, pistachio. All force themselves to have some wine. And there's the little doggies. I think that was a picture sent by WhatsApp from somebody, one of the family. Making our way back to the hotel, back to our room, and that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 7th of June 2024. Yes, that's Matilda with Samantha and June, and they joined us, Enrico and Matilda, in the hotel. They booked a room as well in Scaglietti. So first thing in the morning, these are all of the pictures are taken. I think that was not sure the name of the waiter. I should remember. Sorry, could be Salvio possibly. And yeah, so relaxing as always. I was probably in the reception area there. Oh yes, they got a PC in the reception area, and so I was able to check a few things out very quickly, visit the website, see that the trackers are working, and compare it with the paper maps. And then that's one of the lifeguards on duty there, and yeah, so they got that bit of private beach, and of course yes, that looks like, yes, could that be arancini? Women are probably having ice cream. And right, Enrico with his Tuscan cigars. So we're just relaxing outside the front of the hotel, away from the women. And I know what that is. Yes, they did say it's what you might think it would be. I won't say the word here, but yes, they said they weren't allowed to write that word down, even though that was the name of the product. Those are the pictures from our Ring camera of the foxes and hedgehogs and things visiting the previous night. And there's the private beach, and Matilda, and yeah, having breakfast by the look of it, I assume. Not sure what time of the day that is, or could that be lunch? Probably lunch. Force ourselves to have some wine with it by the look of it. Yeah, there you go, Enrico. Oh yeah, it's getting late now, so yes, that was probably dinner in the hotel. The sun going down, a scene from the hotel. Yes, because that was the end of the restaurant. The hotel was a lovely view, and oh yes, I'm reminded of that film, A Fish Called Wanda. They wouldn't allow me to do my impersonations of Michael Palin, though, unfortunately. Yes, that was interesting. Probably a fritto misto, was it? Mixed seafood, fried. And yes, forced themselves to take a walk and have some limoncello at one of the bars. Yes, thoroughly enjoying ourselves, of course. Yeah, kiddies play area nearby, including Dodgem cars. But Samantha didn't want to go on the Dodgem cars. Oh, yeah, that was a photo of Ferruccio, made to look like an old black and white picture. Ferruccio with his motorbike. And I got to see that later in the holiday. So yeah, always the opportunity to have coffee back to the hotel, and the picture on the wall which closes the photo trail for that day. Saturday the 8th of June 2024. Yes, the picture there reminds me that wasn't Mickey, as Manuel and his mum Ketty, and I got a laptop there because I thought the other one was broken. So that was their business there. Anyhow, now the photos in the order they were shot. Yes, checking things. Probably the YouTube upload from the day before. Yes, and that all seems to be good. And yeah, June had showed me out that there was in fact nothing wrong with with the Chromebook. It's I hadn't pressed the power key down long enough. Not to worry. So time with Enrico and Matilda. Yeah, tennis on the television, rather boring. That was one of the restaurants we went to, but they did have arancini. So I think that was the name of it, the Dolce idea. So enjoyable food, and yes, that's the restaurant. Australian guy, I think, set that up, if I got it right. Oh, Tuscan cigars, yes. There we go. Yeah, so it looks like we're back at the hotel, and looks like a planned trip to. Oh no, it was a planned trip, but when I googled it up, it showed the place on the coast rather than the place inland, and I think Punta Seca, that's where they suggested we went to. So it was Modica up in the hills. I had a bit of a doze while I got out the front waiting for them to get ready, and yes, so looks like Matilda's driving on that, so the rest of us can just relax. So we're off from Scoglietti up into the hills, across the plains, first of all, agricultural plains I would describe them as, obviously very dependent on how much water they get. And looks like we've got there, and this is the lower part of the town, if I've got it right, got a Basso, and that interesting guy there. A lot of these things obviously had statues that are in more recent years. The timing was brilliant, because just as we got there, as we were walking down through the town, there was a wedding, and they were coming out from the wedding. So yeah, we enjoyed ourselves, sat relaxed, watching everything going on. Obviously, photographs being taken, and looked around inside. Yeah, that's a place where they made the first chocolate, apparently. And there was a guy there I was chatting to, and he was sort of collecting anybody who was pop something in collection. Oh yeah, and pussycats, 3 guard cats for the cathedral or church. I get mixed up. That's where the wedding had been, so we were able to visit it afterwards, if I've not got confused with another place. Yeah, so I think they were in the process of sort of cleaning up the confetti and things. Yeah, there they are. And the happy couple were across the road up the hill. Probably they're going to have a party in a place there. And I walked further down through the town. Yeah, more serious places. The monument to the guys who'd lost their lives in the wars. And yeah, so we're saying, oh, that clock, yes, it was rather wrong, but Enrico reminded me it was exactly correct, twice a day. Yes, so toasting. Oh yes, and yeah, they didn't approve of my giving imitations. Dracula, I think that was. Yeah, there's the police station. There's a pussycat. Hello, quite a young one, I think. Very friendly. And yes, oh, they wanted me to take a picture of myself with the passport machine. Well, it took my money but didn't give me a photo. Not to worry, got to take money off tourists somehow or other. So that's the Osteria, looks as though, where we've chosen to eat. Yes, forcing ourselves to have a glass of water by the look of it. And yes, it looks like June's having steak by the look of it. So is Samantha. Samantha likes. Enrico, not sure what he's having. Oh yeah, pasta. I can't remember the name of that dish, but should remember it. Oh, that was a very interesting. I think it was minced up beans. Yes, and I tried some of it, and it was rather nice. I rather like that. Put some on my plate. So not sure the name of it, but it was good. And there was a little lizard, and as we were sat there, so it was doing a very good job of going round, and there must have been a dozen insects that it had caught and eaten while we were sat watching it. Very useful thing. I assume it was a real lizard rather than a very clever little robot. Anyhow, so looks like we're off, leaving the town to make our way back. Yeah, back to the hotel. And that's the end of the photo trail for that day. Sunday the 9th of June 2024. Most memorable thing, I guess, was the lunch at the Buffalo Farm restaurant with Matilda and Enrico. But first it was breakfast at the hotel, El Gabbiano, the seagull in Scoglietti. And yeah, looking along the beach. Lovely clear day, and yes, quiet restaurant, lovely. Go back to the room, check a few things out, including the video from the day before. Very rough, but had been put up and an email sent out to the friends, and that's what we're planning to do up to this place with a buffalo farm for a lunch. And so we're off, June driving, and Samantha attempted to navigate, and we went independently in two cars, because if I got it right, Matilda and Enrico were going from there back, but I don't know. Anyhow, said about messing about, and there's the photogenic buffaloes, lots of them, and of course the sad thing is they get carved up for food. Yeah, photos of them on the walls as well. But lovely big restaurant it was. Obviously it has a reputation, and I like that one. He's saying, I'm very tasty, just try me. Bit sad really. So there we go. There's the menu. Yes, arranging the food appropriately as a starter. And yes, so that's the video. Looks as though that's uploaded from the day before onto June's YouTube channel. And so, as I say, very large restaurant, and very popular, and you can see why. Interesting place, interesting food, and of course, that was hamburger. And it confused me because there was no bread with it. It was just the material of the minced up beef cooked. Very nice it was. Now looking around outside before we set off, and June driving of course, and Samantha attempting to navigate, although I almost certainly was consulting the paper map. And yeah, made it back to the hotel in Scoglietti, Il Gabbiano, and yeah, looking on the tracker, anybody interested would have said, oh, what are they doing up in the hills? And of course Google Maps would have probably seen the name of the restaurant, and Agriturismo Magazza. So it's more than a restaurant. I think it was also a place like hotel or bed and breakfast. Agriturismo means agricultural tourism, I think. Magazza was probably the name of the place. So now relaxing. We've been on the beach, of course. Just taking it easy at the bar. I think it was an interesting spot on the corner there near the harbour. Yes, ice cream, and back end of the day, grumpy old men meet and young families. Sun going down. A bit of cloud there, so Yeah, yeah, tourist stuff on sale. Yeah, women come for their cocktails and lots of ice cream. That was where we, yeah, lovely that was, that place. And I asked for something traditional, and it's sort of pizza material, but apparently it's not called a pizza. It wasn't a round thing; it was a rectangular cut up. Now back to the hotel, and that's probably the end of the photo trail for that day. Monday the 10th of June 2024, including our trip to Agrigento and the Valley of the Temples. So June's driving, Samantha attempting to do some navigation, and so we're off on the road. Simple enough trip through Jailer, very busy area. That was the industrial area. Paper map was invaluable. Yes, so I could see where we were and where we were heading, and it was the Valley of the Temples, Agrigento. And yeah, that's me checking every now and again. We went through a little town or wherever, or went across a river, and so you could say, that's where we are. Yeah, going through a tunnel. The tunnels weren't marked on the map, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, road signs help when you see them. And yeah, even had the Valley of the Temples on the paper map. And I think we're getting close, because that footbridge is where you can walk over one part to another part. So we've arrived. So now have to park the car. And we got a taxi to go to the top rather than walk all the way up and walk all the way down. We thought, no, make it a bit easier. And I called him a taxi, but he was specialising in that particular run. So of course there were places you could get stuff, and I had interesting chats with the various guys on the stalls, and they of course looked around for tourist stuff, but also they had maps showing the route, and picked up a paper version. And there was a pussycat, looked just like Gingy, and a little doggy. So there were certainly a lot of places to visit, and so yes, the cactus that flowers, and people use it for graffiti as well. Yes, edible that is. So that's one of the temples, and lovely views in some cases looking down. So gradually working our way around. Yeah, lovely warm weather. Certainly got through a load of water. Carried a water bottle in my pocket all the time, apart from anything we picked up at places we stopped. Yes, camera didn't come out very well for those pictures where it was bright sunlight. I think that part, there's a lizard. That part, a lot of it was knocked down by all sorts of reasons over the many centuries. That part was used by, I think it was the Christians as tombs, but it's very easy to lose track unless you're looking at it properly. And yes, so that's a very grand looking temple, isn't it? Just about read what it said there on the title. Oh yes, that caused some amusement. I'm not sure how far back that statue goes, and whether it was Icarus, I don't know. And there's some goats, including those relaxing in the shade. Yeah, had a hard day. And those wells, they look like wells, But in fact, as soon as you look down, you realise they had a military significance in more recent years. That one had been made into a pond, but most of them were down to the tunnels and bunkers underneath. A lot of that would have, the most recent updates would have probably been in the Second World War. It tends to happen with anywhere you've got high ground. Don't know who that chap was now. You couldn't read very easily the inscription. Yeah. 4 dogs. They're not dead. No, they were just relaxing. Yeah, it was a bit too hot. They'd probably been doing a lot of hard work. You'd never know. So, carried on round. Didn't want to miss anything. That is the footbridge that we went under on our way to where we parked. So you go across from one lot of temples to the other. And yes, that one looked like an original, and it looked a bit like a guy sunbathing, relaxing, but no, whether it was meant to be originally laying down or whatever. Again, a bit of research and you'd find out these days. Gradually making our way back, and that looks as though we've made our way back to where we parked the car. So now the challenge is to get back to the hotel. And yeah, pay to get out of the car park, and we're back on the road. Yeah, look, burning some stuff off there. Some of it was deliberate and some probably not. Most of it probably not. Just cigarettes that may have been thrown out of a car and caught the vegetation alight. Dry grass and things. Right, so that looks like a bit of a landmark there. Marina del Palma. That was a place we stopped on the way back, if I've got it right. Yes. Lovely little spot there. And yeah, it's just Minimala. There we go, restaurant. So had a little drink and eat. There's the pigeons. You can see how the building was quite an old original building compared with a modern place. Yeah, and lovely food as well. Ice creams, of course. And what else? Can't remember what that was. Probably a very fancy ice cream. June's driving again, so we're back off on our way back to Scoglietti, I believe, through the industrial area of Gela. When I say industrial area, it's a very old industrial area. And back into, yes, that was a hard day, wasn't it? And that's our track, and you could have seen our walk around the Valley of the Temples, all the places we paused with the P and without the P. And yes, the one I'm pointing out now, probably that the women were on the beach. Yes, there's June anyhow. Coming up 6 o'clock local time in the evening, and probably I did that in more than one photo take. That's the reason dwelling on that. Yes, so yeah, checking out bits and pieces of working. 2%, whatever that is, charging of June's phone, I think it was, because the uploading of the YouTube video onto her channel was obviously dependent on power. Yeah, it looks like some emails. Yes, keeping people informed who had interest how things were going. That was all seems to be working right. So getting later in the day now, relaxing. Looks like the fishing boat out. There's the sun going down. Walked along to the area. A bit cloudy, so it was not such a spectacular sunset, but still lovely time of the day for that area. So the sun goes down, we're relaxing, and yes, cocktails, of course. I forced myself to have Prosecco, and what else? yeah, making their way back, I suppose. Yeah, back to the, oh yeah, first stop for a ice cream there, and then back to the hotel. Probably had some WhatsApp message exchanges, and that's the end of the photo trail for that day. Tuesday, the 11th of June 2024, including our visit to Villa Romana and looking at the mosaics. So we checked out of our hotel, Il Galibiano in Scoglietti, after a nice breakfast and a bit of relaxation, including during checking the route up to Villa Romana where the mosaics and things were. And yeah, so I remember those well. And yeah, so we're just looking at the details of that, the journey. So the plan is we're going to check out of the hotel, yeah, got all their baggage into the car, and visit Villa Romana, have a look round there, and then go on to Fleury near Zephyrana Etnia, nearby Enrico's and Matilda's. So we're off on our way. I'm using the paper map. Samantha's attempting to navigate with the paper, go past some interesting things like where people have fly tipped, I think that was. And yeah, so through what I guess would be mostly agricultural countryside for miles around there, whenever there was water for it. So yeah, not that difficult to navigate using the paper map, and occasionally go past a town as a landmark, for example Niskami. The challenge, of course, is getting on the correct road to the place we were visiting, because you can't rely just on signs. Yeah, so lovely, long, straight bit of road. That was easy to see where we were. What's the difficulty, he says. We're clearly just there. Anyhow, so that was fine. And yeah, there's a place called Mirabella, Enrico's family name. So yeah, we have to go that way, and that's the second time we've been around that bit of road. The tracker would have shown anybody watching saying, what are they doing going round in circles? Not to worry though. So that's it, we got to the place. Yeah, go through the process to get a car park slot, and then of course lots of places to buy tourist bits and pieces and interesting guys you chat to, and including the local limoncello. So I forced myself to buy a bottle of that to bring back. And yeah, Villa Romana dal Calzale, well, a better word would be a palace, because I think it was about 400 AD. That's the sort of time of it. Yes, famous for the mosaics, and they're still sort of improving and uncovering stuff. But yeah, that was the ovens, I think, where they used to do the cooking. So basically it was a palace where a rich guy, probably because all the land around, they didn't have to be defended because the Romans had done a good job of that. It was in Roman times still, I think. And so there are lots of rooms for putting up guests and things. So it was not only a grand place for the family to live in, and but also if people were staying there, they'd have their own apartments. And practically every room seemed to have mosaics. I don't know whether that was the key guy or not. Didn't have a chance to check that out. And at least you can read these signs a little better because it's not in bright sunshine. And that was a great interest to me, which is all the various types of hunting that were carried through into the English traditions. And you saw that in several places. You know, fox hunting was one, We don't do so much lion hunting in England, but you never know. So a lot of it was walking around on raised walkways and looking down. Yeah, so yeah, that. I think that room was dedicated to the theme of hunting, and yeah, you can pause on these pictures if you need to look at something in more detail. Oh yes, that's the one I remember, with the ladies in bikinis playing on the beach, presumably, or wherever there was water, with various things. Yes. Yeah, so carrying on round. Yeah. Oh, that was a memorable one. Yeah, there was a lion attacking probably what they were intended to hunt. And one guy was saying to the other, "Yeah, look, the lion's having a go at it. Do you want to sort out the lion first?" That was the different angle, because the women are looking at the same mosaic of the ladies in bikinis. So, trying to work out my way round. Now, the guy said, "Oh, just go round to the left," but it said forbidden to go in, but the door wasn't locked. So I started to tread carefully on the mosaic, and I thought, oh, it can't be right. And he said, "No, you shouldn't do that." So yeah, he eventually said, "Just go round and follow it." So the signs show you the sign to the next place, and in fact that is the route out as well. So okay, went back, joined the women. Yeah, good explanations. So gradually making our way back. That was, I guess, some of it looked a bit like a church at some stage. But yeah, I think that's one of children playing. So it says our exit. So that's it, we've done it. Very good. There's a lizard. So yeah, have a refreshment. Yes, that's the time, 2:30 local time. Yes. Oh, had some arancini as well. A little snack, not just the refreshments. Yeah, June's ready to start driving again. So we're now going to make our way up back north to Fleury, which is just on the outskirts of Zephyrana, Etna, not that far from Mount Etna. And of course, what we've booked up is, we had stayed there, I think, the year before, last year, but it was literally just a 6-minute walk around the corner to Enrico. So there's cattle in that field. Yes, so we're gradually, I'm looking on the map to remind myself where we are, and that's what we're aiming for, which is Fleury near Zephyrana, Etna. May not be taking the familiar route, but occasionally you recognise a bit of road. There's Mount Etna. There's coming through the tolls, so occasionally you have to get tickets and then pay when you come off that bit of road. Aci Reali, and yeah, Etna again. Yeah, little tiny roads they are. Well, all things are relative. Roads, I think, as I've said before, still better than many of those in Berkshire and Surrey. But yeah, it looks as though we got there. So there's the doggies that guard their old house across the road, and yeah, there's Enrico with his motorbike, and didn't recognise him until he took his helmet off. And there's their young dog, if I got the name, Nico, I think his name is. Yes, hello Nico. And Matilda. So what are we up to now? Right, going round the corner to check into Poggia Felici. I think that means Happy Hill, if you translate it, and it seems a very appropriate name for it. So a couple of rooms there, fairly simple to check in. Checked, yeah, was the tracker working? Yeah, people would know where we were in terms of making progress, either moving along the roads or getting somewhere. Lovely, yeah, great big swimming pool. Didn't check that out, but we remember it from last time. Mount Etna, quite visible there, just a bit of smoke coming out of it, and a tap outside, good old traditional water tap for probably any animals. And yeah, that's probably looking at the tracker, and that shows walking around there. And just around the corner, apparently it says 1 minute. Oh, that's if I would use a car. 6 minutes if we walked. Yep, so we're now at Enrico and Matilda's new place. I say new, it was several years ago, but built to withstand tremors of earthquakes and things, with their doggies. 2 doggies, Nico's one and the other one, and they're very playful, young. I don't think they're much more than a year or 2 old. And it's a pussycat, I think. Oh no, that was a picture of Toadie that was sent by WhatsApp. Probably Saskia took the photo when she visited. Yeah, forced herself to have a drop of wine. And who's been dribbling on my leg? Yes, that was Nico. Yeah, I might have been accused of occasionally giving him a little tidbit of food. Yeah, so lovely evening there. And we saw something out. And I hadn't judged the horizon, and in fact we found out later that it was on the horizon. It seemed too high, but of course they're very high where they are, and we realised it was a ship with the lights on a ship. At first I thought it was something like a drone. Oh yes, that's a nice picture from Matilda. The Mona Lisa, if she eats too much of the food because it's so good. But yeah, and that's the tracker showing where we come that day, including going round and round and round to get to Valley of the Temples. And yeah, that's checking out Wi-Fi and things. So, and then we got to where we were, Poggio di Felici, and that's the picture on the wall, and that's the end of the photo trail for that day. Wednesday the 12th of June 2024, the last day of our holiday in Sicily, including a trip to Catania and Reale. Yes, so in Fleury at the bed and breakfast, having breakfast, and yeah, lovely place that was, with the yeah, oh yeah, that was to do with tickets. That was a room, so it's all about checking out from our lovely place we've been staying near in Fleury, around the corner from Enrico and Matilda's. Yeah, views of Mount Etna, lovely garden, and the jasmine, a great big load of jasmine. In fact, it was bringing on June's hay fever, and well, didn't suffer from it much, but and I noticed that tree, which I think was a type of oak tree, but I can't be sure what type. So we're relaxing on the veranda, and yeah, where the women got to. I thought we were going round to Enrico's. I got there first, but yes, so no, it wasn't that. It was a question of how did you open the gate, and that was all sorted out. So yeah, so we've checked out of the bed and breakfast, Happy Hill, I think, if I've got it right. I might have been getting mixed up, sorry. And so yeah, 50 cents is what's needed for the toll, as we're taking a trip into Catania, and Enrico hasn't got the use of his car because Matilda was using that, had some work on, and so yeah, through the tolls okay. So Enrico was very much our guide, and although we'd been to Catania before, we saw a lot more that we hadn't seen before, and of course Samantha hadn't seen any of it. So I remember very well the fish market near the railway arches. Yeah, lots of graffiti everywhere. Art, real art, that's what I call it. So we're getting closer. Yes, that looks like the old industrial bit near the Port Catania. And yes, obviously lots of squares. Now that's the old railway, and Enrico had said that once the sea came up to that, but they then built a sea wall, if I've got it right. So there's much more of the town either side of the railway now. And of course the important thing is the fish market and other things. And elephants are very important as well, because apparently it was the Romans who brought elephants into Italy, not Hannibal. It was they brought them in from Africa. Not sure what use they made of them, but that's another matter. So that's the fish market. Lots of fish, including large swordfish, and looks like cherries to me. Chiligi. Yes. So it's not only fish. It's sort of most important thing is probably the fish market, but of course there's lots of other things as well. So now we're walking around some place I don't think we had visited before, and of course graffiti everywhere, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, hardly time to read the signs unless you freeze the picture. So every street had artwork on it. Look at it, lovely. Jasmine. Lots of bars, of course, and restaurants. Yes, I think you might recognise that. That's going over the railway. Another one of the churches. And that's the castle. Didn't go into the castle, but I don't think we'd even visited the outside of it before. Yeah, it had a moat as well once upon a time, especially if the water had been higher. Yeah. Yes, guy in armour. And yeah, there was an exhibition of Caravaggio related stuff, I think. We didn't go into it, but one of the things on. I'm not quite sure what that meant. Meant something, I'm sure. It probably says something like "Grumpy old man lives here." I don't know. So we're carrying on, checking out all the streets, probably keeping an eye out for somewhere to stop for a bite and a drink. Into the main square. Now that square I do remember because of the elephants. Yes, the statue of the elephant there. So very memorable. And of course a lot of other lovely statues around as well. And guys on motorbikes, of course, and scooters. Yeah, and there was a bit of water flowing under there, probably the river, but obviously well controlled being in the city. And a pigeon, in fact several pigeons. Oh, that was an interesting spot, which is where the fish market guys sort of dumped the stuff to be taken away later, particularly the packaging and things. And of course the pigeons gathered for a free meal. So yes, forcing myself to have a drop of wine at that time of the day. And oh yes, that guy came around. I took a clip of video of that because the music he was playing, the love theme from The Godfather, and yeah, it was lovely food. Well, so there's no lack of the right source material near the fish market. Yeah, they're having spaghetti by the look of it, and that looked like prawn, I think. Yes, there's some more shots of the pigeons having a feed. So making our way back. Yes, it's a little bit untidy, but it will obviously get cleared up. What the pigeons having there. Sorry about that noise in the background. Those are WhatsApp messages coming in, I expect, from the family. Yes, people relaxing in the square near the fountain. And yes, a bit sad really, I suppose. Some of those headless statues, I believe, were the word vandal in English was taken from a tribe that went round smashing things up, but again we'll have to look it up. Yeah, back to the car, parked near the railway arch, and there's a train going past. You probably didn't catch it, but it had graffiti on it, of course. So now we're on our way back out of Catania, and the next place apparently is that we're going to visit past the industrial area. The old one goes back many years. After Catania it was going to be Acireale, and we certainly remember going there on our very first visit to Sicily, meeting friends of Enrico and Matilda, and of course the place itself. So yes, that could be Acireale, I would have thought. One of the many bars. Oh yes, with a nice swinging seat for Robin to check out. Yes, ice cream. So probably then June's off again driving. Oh dear. But yeah, the roads can be interesting. The quality of the roads are good, and it's just the way, I guess it's traditional for the Italians to drive. But then again, they tend to use their common sense quite a bit, like when it's safe to do something. Oh, there's back to Enrico's place, Enrico and Matilda's place, and with the doggies and the family, including, I think that was, got a glimpse of Giorgio, and yeah, lemons. Yeah, showing around the plants. Just in the last year since we last visited, and that's a strange shaped lemon which apparently was due to damage done by an insect when it was a very young plant. Yeah, so we were using smartphones to recognise what the species of plant was, so I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And that I thought was an avocado, but in fact it wasn't, even though it was a fruit of some kind. So yeah. That was, oh goodness me, with his motorbike, Ferruccio, who stayed with us a few years ago. So June's off now driving, so I guess we're now leaving in order to get to the airport, Catania Airport. Yeah, go through the process of picking up a ticket, because that bit of motorway was a pay road, even though it was only 50 cents or something similar. Yeah, there's, you can see Etna. Yeah, coming, lovely lady taking the money rather than a machine. And just following the signs now for the airport, under one or two tunnels that I remember near Catania. So it's effectively coming past the main and through the main town of Catania to get to the south side where the airport is. Yeah, that's well signed. So take the appropriate road off. Yes, probably people have to wait for us looking at these messages. It might be Father's Day messages. And yeah, June's topping up with fuel, because when you return the car you've got to fill it up with fuel, or else they'll really charge you a load of money for it. And finding the rent-a-car slot to return. Yes, bit of confusion before we found the actual place, because that patch of ground is now used for quite a few different rental companies, all in competition with each other. But we did find the spot. Just a case of using one's eyes and asking, of course. And yeah, so car's returned, no problems. I took photographs all round it just in case there was some later claim that we damaged it, but no, sure there won't be. And so now it's a question of checking out the process of going through the airport. And of course what takes the time is the women's getting distracted by buying stuff at the duty free. So yeah, it looks like we're on the board the plane now. And yes, it was the same sort of business of where do you sit, and yeah, a bit tiring, probably what Jude was doing. And yeah, so we've taken off. I'm having a bit of a doze, or pretending to. Yeah, flying over a few places, looking at the clock. So yeah, well after midnight now. That's I probably moved my clock. At some stage I will have moved the clock. So anyhow, that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 13th of June 2024. Yes, we got to bed very late because of getting back from Sicily. Little happened other than pub lunch, and well, lots of other things happened, but didn't take any photos of it. So yeah, lovely meal at the Duke of Edinburgh Woodside, and then it was back to Stuart's for coffee and biscuits. Lots of other things through the day, but not recorded on camera. Too busy for that. That's the end of the day. This video and photos is shot by June on her Samsung S23 smartphone. No chance to edit it, but it's very good stuff.
Is there somebody over there? I can't see him now. He's gone. Where's he gone to? No.
Got our cats in their sleeping baskets. This one's Bentley. Hello, Bentley. Oh, hang on, Toadie's moving. What's Toadie going to do? You're not going to move into Bentley's basket, surely? No? No, it's not a good idea, is it? Bentley. That's it. Look.
Hello.
Probably dead.
La finisce il percorso, inizia con gli organi maschili e femminili, con il triangolo, come hanno detto appunto, diceva Franco Battiato, finché veniva lui, forse questa cosa lo sistemavano bene.
That's like a Roman eagle.
Certo, l'aquila quindi.
Yeah. Hello, Samantha.
Hi.
You seem to have an empty plate.
Yes.
And
Don't you like that lemon?
mine's almost.
Okay. There's more one. Ah. On
Yes, I should have warned you that it was over 2 hours of photo trail. I'll just give you a quick glance at the garden, see how everything's grown out of control in the last 2 weeks while we were away in Sicily. Look at all the grass, that's the easy stuff. It's all fighting your way round through there. Good thing is the gunra is coming up nicely. That one. Not so sure about that in the end. Anyhow, there's the garden. Quick glance at it. Running back through here. Have to watch out for pussycats. And I've been going back into the house. Oh, watch out for the water squirter. It has only got water in it. Robot boat. We may get a chance to do a bit more on that sometime, in the same way that might get a chance to tidy up the rest of the house with somebody's help. Quick glance to the kitchen. There we are, just for a change. June watching tennis, and I'm now going to roll into that material shot last year, which started about here. Now, what I put on the screen, because global warming is rearing itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired, happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet, because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise,
We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes.
That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worried for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well, but as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday, that'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up this video by saying, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have. Yes, it's now middle of March 2024, and the pond's changed quite a bit. I'll have to change the copyright statement at the end, but the message is the same. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy life while we can. Oh yeah, my hair's grown a bit since then.